Alright, so hello, Assalamualaikum everyone. In this video, we will continue to learn about 7.1, right? So this is a continuity from the last lecture on last Tuesday. So let's see over here, we have trigonometric ratios for special angles. Okay, so what does it mean by a special angle? Okay, so over here, a special angle is actually a few angle. So you can see over here, there are 0 degree, 30 degree, 45 degree, 60 degree and as well as 90 degree. So these 5 degrees are what we call as special angles. Okay, so angle-angle ni adalah angle yang mana kalau kita buat dia punya trigo function, you don't really have to use a calculator. Okay, so means that let's say kita nak cari sin 0, so tak perlu pakai calculator. Ataupun let's say kita nak cari cos 30 degree, so dekat sini tak perlu pakai calculator. Macam mana nak cari dia? So what you need to do is you need to have these triangles and then this graph. Okay, itu sahaja yang kita perlukan. Alright, so for the first one over here, this one, ini adalah satu triangle, right angle triangle, which actually came from this equilateral triangle yang sama sisi dia. Okay, so tengok dekat sini, kita ada triangle with sides 2. Okay, so all of the side at this equilateral triangle is 2, right? And then we know that the angle over here, okay, kalau dia sama sisi semuanya, then angle dekat sini semua akan jadi 60 degree. Over here is 60 degree, over here is 60 degree as well. Right, now we cut this angle into 2 parts. So kita potong dekat tengah and then kita buang bahagian yang kiri. This one kita buang. Okay, betul-betul dekat tengah kita potongkan dia. Okay, so now apa yang jadi dekat kita punya angle is we have over here, this one over here, dia dah jadi 1. Sebab originally dia adalah 2 and then kita potong tengah, so 2 bahagi 2 lah. Right, so kita akan dapat dekat sini panjang dia adalah 1. And then this slanted side over here, the length is 2. So we have 2 over here. And then this will make this one up here is square root of 3. Okay, and then what about the angle? So the angle that we have over here is 60 degree. Okay, and then up here is just 30 degree because we cut it into half, so 60 divided by 2. Okay, settle. Right, so this is the first triangle that we have. Right, so moving on to the second triangle. So second triangle is actually coming from a square. Okay, so a square with the side of 1. Right, and then from a square, we know that every side is 90 degree. So each side that we have inside a square is a 90 degree. Okay, and then we cut it into half like this, potong tengah macam ni. Okay, and then this is the triangle that we have lah when we cut it into half. So the side now over here is just 1, right? So this is 1, then this is 1 as well, and then this is 1, so this is also 1. So 1 and 1, right? And then when we cut this one into half, so this angle over here will be cut into half as well, which means that we have a 45 degree over here and 45 degree over here. So it becomes an isosceles triangle. So segitiga sama kaki. So and then dekat sini dia punya hypotenuse dia akan jadi square root 2. Right. So how do we find this and this one? You can just use Pythagoras theorem. Okay, so Pythagoras theorem adalah yang mana? So Pythagoras theorem is a square plus b square equal to c square. Okay, alright. So let's now we want to fill in the empty spaces over here, right? So kita nak isi untuk yang 30, 45 dengan 60 dulu. So 90 dengan kosong kita biar dulu sebab kita nak guna yang ni. Okay, so the first one is for sin 30 degree. Okay, so sin 30 degree, so now our reference angle yang kita nak gunakan adalah 30 degree. So just look at 30 degree over here. So this one will act as your reference angle. Okay, so we know that sine is going to be opposite over hypotenuse. So your opposite is 1, hypotenuse is 2. Okay, so we have sine 30 is equal to 1 over 2. Okay, settle. And then next we have sine 45. Sine 45. Okay, so 45 is over here, or over here. Both are 45. Okay, so just choose one. So let's say I want to choose this one as my reference angle. Okay, so sine is so means opposite over hypotenuse. 1 over square root 2. So we have 1 over square root 2, or it's equivalent to square root 2 over 2. Okay, settled. And then lastly, we have sine 60 degree. So sine 60 degree over here is 60 degree. So sine opposite over hypotenuse. So opposite over hypotenuse. So square root 3 over 2. Alright, that's it. Okay, and then moving on to cos. So cos we know is kah adjacent over hypotenuse. Okay, so for 30 degree first over here, so we have 30 degree kah adjacent over hypotenuse. So adjacent over here, hypotenuse is over here. So square root 3 over 2. Right, and then for cos 45 degree, so 45 degree kah adjacent over hypotenuse. Right, so we have over there is 1 over square root 2, which is equal to square root 2 over 2. And then lastly for cos, we have cos 60 degree. So cos 60 kah over hypotenuse. So we have 1 over 2. Okay, and then for tangent, so tangent 30 towa. So we have towa, opposite over adjacent. So opposite of 30, this is 30, opposite over adjacent. So 1 over square root 3. 1 over square root 3, or it's equal to square root 3 over 3. Yeah. Okay, and then tangent 45 to what? 45, opposite over adjacent. 1 over 1 is just 1. Okay, and finally we have tangent 60, so it's to wa, o, e. And then we have square root 3 over there. Square root 3. Okay, settled. Right, now moving on for the value of 0 and 90 degree. So we will need to draw two graphs. So the first one is the graph of sine. Okay, on the left is graph of sine. So we label it over here as sine theta. This one is going to be theta. And then on the right is cos theta with value of x is theta, like this. Okay, and then we just want the value of 0 and 90 degree. So 0 will be at the origin and 90 degree will be over here. This is 90 degree. Okay, and then as well as for the cos graph, 90 degree will be over here. Okay, so how do we read the cos and sine graph? So the first one we want is sine 0 degree. Okay, so look at the graph of sine over here. So sine 0 means that 0 is your value of theta, right? And sine theta is the value of our y. Okay, so means that when theta is equal to 0, okay, the graph is at 0 and then the y is at 0 as well. So it means that sine theta is equal to, sine 0 is equal to 0. Okay, and then for sine 90, okay, so look at 90. 90 is over here. So when theta is equal to 90, up here, y is equal to 1. Okay, so we have the value of 1 over here. Okay, and then moving on for cos. So cos 0. So this is cos graph. So when theta is equal to 0, 0 is over here and your graph is located up here. Okay, so theta equal to 0, y is equal to 1. Right, and then lastly, when theta is equal to 90, 90 is over here and then theta is over here as well. So our graph y is equal to 0. We have 0. Okay, settled. Right, now we want to find the value for tangent. So we know that tangent is actually sine theta over cos theta. Okay, and then sine 90 degree, sine 0, sorry, this is sine 0 over cos 0. So we have 0 over 1, which is equal to 0. Okay, and then for 90 degree, oh wait, I write over here 0 degree. So sine 0 degree, cos 0 degree. Okay, and then for tangent 90, so tangent is actually sine. So we have sine 90 degree over cos 90 degree. So this is going to be equal to sine 90 is 1, cos 90 is 0. So we have 1 over 0. So when we have 0 as our denominator, then we will have the value is undefined. Right? Okay, so now we already found all the value of sine, cos and tangent. Okay, so apa yang kita nak buat sekarang adalah kita nak try buat example and you don't need to use your calculator, just refer to your spatial angle table over here. Right, so now example 3, find the value of each expression without using a calculator. Okay, so you can just use your calculator if you want to recheck your answer, but for this one you can use your table to find the value. Okay, so the first one we have 2 sine 30. So it's 2. Sine 30, we know that sine 30. So the answer is 1 over 2. So just write 1 over 2 over here. Okay, and then minus with 3. So this one over here is cos square. Cos square means it's the same with cos 45 degree square, like this. Okay, so if you have a tangent, let's say we have tangent square theta. So it's the same with tangent theta square. Okay, or let's say we have sine square theta. Sine square theta is equal to sine theta square. Okay, so now we have cos square theta. So it means cos 45 square theta. So cos 45 is square root 2 over 2. So we have square root 2 over 2 and then square. Okay, so simplify, we have 1 and then minus with 3 times 2 over 4. Okay, and then you just press your calculator, you will get your answer. Alright, next one. So next one, we have tan square 60. So tan square means that tan 60 square. Okay, so where is your tan 60? Tan 60 is over here. So we have square root 3 square. Like this. And then minus with cos square 45. So cos square 45 sama dekat sini. This one over here. Okay, so we have there is square root 2 over 2 square. Right, and then simplify, we have on the left is just 3. And then minus with 2 over 4. Okay, and then we will have the answer as 5 over 2. Okay, now last example, example B. So we need to prove that this one, secant 30 degree tan 60 degree plus dot 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 is equal to square root 5 over 2. Okay, so this one we have a correction. Right, so this one we have a correction. So square root 5 over here is supposed to be 7. Okay, so prove this equal to 7 over 2. Okay, so what we do is we take it from the left hand side. From left hand side. Right, and then we substitute all the value of secant 30, tan 60, sine 45, all of this into your expression. Okay, but before that, first I want to change the secant 30 degree into 1 over cos, cosecant degree 45 degree into 1 over sine, and then cot 60 degree into 1 over tangent. So we have the first one is 1 over cos 30, and then times with tan 60, okay, like this. Right, and then plus with sine 45. Okay, so cosecant is equal to 1 over sine. Settle. And then lastly we have plus cos 30 degree times with 1 over tangent 60. Okay, settle. Now substitute all the value that we have. So cos 30 degree, so from the table, let's take a look at the table back. So cos 30 degree is square root 3 over 2. So we have square root 3 over 2 here. And then tan 60 degree is square root 3. So times with square root 3. Right? And then for the second one, this one over here and this one over here can be cancelled out. So we just cancel and cancel because they are equal. And then we just have 1. Then plus with, so cos 30 degree again is, it's 1 over, cos 30 is gonna be, oh sorry, I think I have a typo over here. So this one is 1 over cos 30. 1 over cos 30 means it's 1 over square root 3 over 2. Okay, so let me correct this. 1 over square root 3 over 2. Settle. Okay, and then this one is square root 3 over 2. So we have over here is square root 3 over 2. And then 1 over tan 60. So tan 60 again is here. So 1 over square root 3. So times with 1 over square root 3. Okay, so let's simplify. So this one over here, this is gonna be equivalent to 2. Yes, 2. Okay, and then plus with 1. And then for the last term, we cancel out the square root 3 and square root 3 over here. So we only have 1 over 2. Okay, and then summing all of this together, we will have 7 over 2. So it's shown. Settle. Alright, moving on. So next, 7.1.4, trigonometric ratios for any angle. Okay, so positive and negative angles. So the first thing adalah positive and negative angles. So kita akan baca dekat sini. We know that an angle is positive, right? Angle is positive when it is measured anti-clockwise. Okay, and then another one is negative when it is measured clockwise. Okay, so look at the first axis over here. So for positive, we measure it anti-clockwise. So we start from this positive region of x. Okay, so over here is for the positive region of x, and then we bring it for anti-clockwise, means that it's going upward over here. Okay, so and then keep going and just keep going until it reach back at this. Okay, so this is how you read a positive angle, right? So for the first one, from here, go from here, right? So we have this one over here is 90 degree. So let me write it for you. So this one over here is 90 degree. Okay, and then if we go again, pergi lagi sebelah kiri, dan kita dapat dekat sini 180 degree. Okay, and then teruskan lagi pusing macam ni. So kita akan dapat dekat sini 270 degree. And then kita jumpa balik kita punya origin. So tadi kita start dengan 0 degree. So one complete rotation is 360 degree. Like that. Okay, so this is for positive angle. Okay, so what about negative angle? So negative angle kita buat dia terbalik sahaja. So start at the same place. So daripada x yang positif, kita pusingkan dia clockwise. So means that dia pergi ke bawah. Okay, pergi lagi, and pergi lagi sampai jumpa balik. Okay, contoh. So contoh kalau kita ada angle kita negative 45 degree. So angle negative 45 degree means that dia located dekat sini lah. Okay, sebab kita baca arah dia daripada arah yang clockwise, daripada sini pergi ke bawah. So this is negative 45 degree. Okay. And then contoh lagi, kalau let's say kita ada angle of negative 100. So from here dia pergi sampai sini. So this one over here is actually negative 100 degree. Okay, so if we label the angle, so it starts with 0 degree, and then it goes down to negative 90 degree, and then we have negative 180 degree, and then we have negative 270 degree. Lastly, we will have negative 360 degree. Settle. Okay, so the difference between a positive angle and a negative angle is just ke arah mana kita rotatekan dia. Okay, so for positive angle, we rotate it anti-clockwise, while negative angle, we rotate it clockwise over here. Okay, so that is just the difference between positive and negative angle, right? So just the direction, the angle is just gonna be the same. Okay, what I mean by that is, let's say we have the angle of 45 degree. So 45 degree is located over here. So this is angle 45 degree. So this one over here, okay, so the measure of this angle over here will just be 45 degree. Okay, the same with negative 45. Negative 45 is located over here. Negative 45 degree. Okay, so the measure of this angle over here, okay, bentuk dia besar dia sama sahaja. Means that kat sini dia adalah 45 degree. Okay, direction sahaja berbeza. Alright, next, signs of trigonometric pictures. Okay, so kita ada 4 quadrant altogether. We have the first quadrant, second quadrant over here, third quadrant over here, and then we have fourth quadrant over here. Okay, and then kita nampak kat sini we have all sin theta, tangent theta, cos theta. Ataupun biasa awak guna abbreviation is all sin teacher cute. Okay, ataupun add sugar to coffee. Ataupun saya senang je hafal ESTC. Simple. Okay, so what are we gonna do with this information is, so when you have an angle located at the first quadrant, okay, so all means all the trigo function, basic trigo function that you have will be equal to positive value. Okay, so means that let's say we have sin theta. Okay, sin theta will just equal to a positive value. Okay, and then we also have cos theta equal to a positive value. And we also have tangent theta equal to a positive value. Okay, so this is what all or A means. All value of trigo will be positive. Okay, and then what about for the second quadrant over here? So for second quadrant over here, only sign will be positive. Okay, so let me just copy this one and paste it over here. Okay, so at the second quadrant, only sign is positive. Means that other than sign is gonna be negative. Like this. Okay, only sine theta is positive value. Okay, and then for the third quadrant we have t, which means that only tangent theta is positive value. Okay, so other than tangent will be negative value. So sine theta is negative, cos theta is negative value as well. Only tangent is positive. Okay, and then lastly for the fourth quadrant, so fourth quadrant we have C. C over here means that only cos is positive. Okay, other than that will be negative. Alright, settle. Like this. Okay, and then lastly we have over here is basic angle. Okay, so what does it mean by basic angle? So basic angle, so if you take a look at the meaning over here, it's an acute angle measured from the x-axis. Okay, so what is acute angle? Acute angle is acute angle, literally a very acute angle. So it's gonna be just less than 90 degree. Okay, greater than 0 degree, less than 90 degree is in between 0 to 90 degree. That is acute angle, acute angle. Okay, and we measured it from the x-axis. Okay, and then it helps us to simplify trigonometric ratios for angles greater than 90 degree. So we can use it to simplify angle greater than 90 degree as well as for negative angle. Okay, so we will take a look at this more in the examples, right? So, and then we have this one information over here. So, if let's say you have a negative angle, so contoh kita ada cos negative 90 degree, let's say. Okay, and then by using this information, we know that it's just gonna be a positive of 90 degree. Dia akan jadi cos 90 degree, contoh saja. Like this. Okay, and let's say if we have sine negative 90 degree, so it's equivalent to negative of sine 90 degree. So tangent pun sama lah. So kalau kita ada tangent negative 90, contoh, so simplify kita akan dapat negative tangent 90 degree. Okay, so kata kunci dia, the keyword is just at the how we spell the trigo. Okay, so over here we have n and n. Okay, kalau dia ada huruf N dekat situ, so dekat sini ada N, dekat sini pun ada N. So negatif dia akan follow keluar. Okay, ataupun satu lagi cara kita nak ingat lebih mudah adalah cos sahaja yang tak akan ada negatif. So cos sahaja yang akan menghilangkan dia punya negatif. Okay, so jom. Awak kena tahu pasal basic angle before awak boleh teruskan. Okay, so now let's say we have 4 quadrant over here. Okay, and then kita punya angle, kita akan kira dia daripada 0 degree. Okay, kita akan follow yang positive degree dulu. So yang negative degree ni saya tak guna lagi. Tapi awak dah tahu dah macam mana nak gunakan dia nanti. Okay, now saya nak fokus kepada benda lain, bukan yang dalam negative angle. Okay, so sekarang kita ada 4 quadrant. So we start our angle with 0 degree over here. Okay, and then positive means that dia pergi ke arah anti-clockwise lah. So up here is 90 degree. And then we have over here is 180 degree. And then down here we have 270. Lastly, we have 360 degree. Okay, so dekat setiap kuadran 1, kuadran 2, kuadran 3, kuadran 4, kita akan ada basic angle kita sendiri. Okay, basic angle ataupun kita panggil dia sebagai reference angle. So, kita akan buat satu garisan dekat setiap angle kita. So, this one, dekat setiap kuadran, this one. For the first quadrant, this is for the second quadrant. Then third quadrant. Lastly, fourth quadrant over here. Okay, so these are all the angle that is located in the quadrant. And then basic angle is an acute angle measured from x-axis. Dia mesti measured from x-axis. Kata kunci dia pada perkataan x-axis over here. Okay, so means that for the first quadrant over here, our basic angle is located over here. This is our basic angle. Okay, it's from x-axis. Okay, so for the second quadrant, basic angle mesti from x-axis sampai sini. So ini basic angle kita. Over here. So this is our basic angle for the second quadrant. This is for the third quadrant. This is for the fourth quadrant. Okay, so kalau kita highlight, so dia duduk dekat sini. Dekat sini. Sini. And dekat sini. Okay, so these are our basic angle. We can label it as alpha. Okay, so alpha kita label sebagai basic angle kita. Okay, contohlah soalan bagi kita theta equal to 60 degree. Okay, so 60 degree means that dia daripada sini pergi ke anti-clockwise. So this one adalah 60 degree. Okay, and then kalau kita punya angle tu located dekat first quadrant, alpha kita pun akan jadi 60 juga. Means that theta and alpha is equal value. Both are 60 degree. Okay, so what about if let's say we have angle of 120 degree. So 120 degree means that dia dah pergi lebih besar daripada 90 and before dia sampai 180. So 120 duduk dekat belah sinilah, kuadran yang kedua. So theta is equal to 120 degree. So how are we going to find our alpha over here? Macam mana kita nak cari nilai alpha kita? So we know that from here going anti-clockwise to here dia adalah 120 degree. Okay, and then macam mana kita nak cari nilai dekat sini? Kita tahu total dia adalah 180. Daripada sini, pusing sampai sini, total kita adalah 180. So, baki dekat sini kita akan dapat lagi 60. So, alpha kita sebenarnya adalah 60 degree. Okay, sebab when we add this one, 120 degree with 60 degree over here, kita akan dapat total 180 degree. Okay, so contoh lagi satu. Let's say if I have 220. So 220 dia dah lebih besar daripada 180 before 270. So dia dekat sini lah. Okay, so this is our theta given. So theta equal to 220. So theta we know that it's from here pergi sampai sini. So this is 220. So macam mana kita nak cari alpha yang duduk dekat sini? Okay, so macam mana kita nak cari dia? Senang sahaja, kita tolakkan dia dengan 180. Okay, so our alpha is just 220 degree minus 180 degree, so we will have 40 degree. Okay, and then lastly, if let's say we have theta is equal to 330 degree. Okay, so 330 degree. So from here going to here we have is 330 degree, which means that baki dekat sini akan jadi 30 degree. So our alpha is equal to 30 degree. Alright, settle. Okay, so now let's take a look at this example 4. Okay, so state the following trigonometric functions in acute angle. So acute angle ataupun kita nampak dia sebenarnya adalah nak maksudkan dengan basic angle, or we also use sometimes as reference angle. Reference angle. Okay, so all of these are the same thing. Acute, basic and reference angle. So it's an angle with 90 degree, less than 90 degree, between 0 to 90 degree. Okay, so the first one, but before that, before we can answer all of these questions, so I want you to know how to write the answer. Okay, so jawapan kita akan tulis dia dalam bentuk sine. Okay, and then trigo function, Fn is function, and then lastly is your alpha ataupun basic angle lah. Okay, so let's say kalau sine kita positif, trigo function kita adalah sine, and then alpha kita adalah 60 degree, macam tu. Okay, so jom, let's say this one, sine 160 degree. Okay, first what we do is we sketch. So kita nak tahu angle kita ni duduk dekat mana. Okay, so sketch the quadrant that we have. Okay, so 160 degree means that kat sini kan kosong, sini adalah 90, sini 180. So maksudnya 160 duduk dekat sini. Okay, so 180 degree will be located over here. This one. 160 degree will be located over here. Okay, so from here going to here, it's 180 degree, like that. Okay, and then, it's 160 degree. Okay, and then we know that this one is 90 degree. Over here is 180 degree. Okay, sekarang kita nak cari dia punya acute angle. So acute angle, alpha kita duduk dekat sini. This one is our alpha. Okay, so macam mana nak cari alpha dekat sini? Senang je. Kalau daripada sini sampai sini adalah 160. So baki dekat sini adalah nilai yang akan mencukupi 180. Which means our alpha is equal to 20 degree. Okay, now kita nak tengok dia punya sign. So we know that the first quadrant is for S, first quadrant is for A, second quadrant is for S, and we have T, C, A, S, T, C. Okay, so angle kita dekat quadrant kedua. Quadrant kedua, sign sahaja yang positif. Okay, and then tengok dekat kita punya trigo function. Trigo function that we are using is sign, which means that the sign or the symbol for sign over here is gonna be a positive sign as well. Okay, so how do we write the answer? So kita akan tulis jawapan kita dalam bentuk yang atas ni tadi. Okay, the first one dia punya sign. So sign kita adalah positif dekat sini. So kita tulis positive sign. And then trigo function. Our trigo function is sine. Okay, and then we just write sine over here. And then our alpha, basic angle kita is 20 degree. So we have positive sine 20 degree. So simplify, just sine 20 degree. Okay, that's it. Okay, next one, example B. So first we sketch. Okay, sketch the angle. Alright, so 220 degree it's located over here. Okay, sebab dia lagi besar daripada 180. So daripada sini sampai sini. Oops. From here going anti-clockwise to here. So this is 220 degree. Okay, so label our angle. So over here we have 180 degree. Down here we have 270 degree. Okay, and then our alpha is located over here. The small one over here, this is our alpha. So how are we going to find our alpha? So kita tolakkan sahaja. So 220 degree minus 180 degree. So we will have 40 degree. Okay, so alpha dekat sini adalah 40 degree. Sebab 180 plus 40 degree dapatlah 220 degree. Okay, and then moving on to the sign. So we have A, S, T, C. Okay, and then kita punya angle terletak di kuadran ketiga, in which at the third quadrant only tangent is positive. But now we have cos. So which means that our sign for cos is gonna be a negative sign. It's negative sign over here. Okay, so how do we write the answer? Okay, the first one we write is sine. So we know that the sign is negative. And then trigo function, our trigo function is cos. Okay, follow je. Kalau kat sini cos, kat sini pun cos. Kalau kat sini sine, dekat sini pun sine. And so on. Okay, and then kita punya basic angle kita dapat adalah 40 degree. Alright, that's it. Okay, so now. And then yang ini madam nak awak buat sendiri. This one pun sama. Buat sendiri juga. Okay, this one pun sama. So satu lagi yang madam akan buat adalah this example E. Okay, so this one saya bagi clue. Ini dia dah lebih satu rotation. Maksudnya dia dah going greater than 360 degree. Okay, so nanti nak mudah labelkan dekat awak punya Cartesian plane tu. So this one berapa, labelkan nanti. Okay, so now example E. So first kita lukis dulu kita punya garisan paksi kita. Okay, like this. And then kita nampak dekat sini dia adalah negatif 215. So negatif 215 maksudnya dia akan pergi ke arah sinilah, ke arah clockwise sana. Okay, and then negatif 212 duduk dekat mana? So the first one kita start dengan 0 degree and then turun ke bawah. So dia adalah negatif 90 degree and then negatif 180 degree, negatif 270 degree, negatif 360 degree. Okay, so negative 215 is located over here. Okay, so letakkan awak punya angle dekat situ. It's over here. Okay, which means that the rotation is going from here, going clockwise to here. Sini. Okay, so ini adalah negative 215 degree. Okay, settle. And then, next kita nak cari dia punya alpha. So, alpha kita, kedudukan dia akan sama sahaja. Maksudnya, untuk negative angle ataupun positive angle, kedudukan alpha sentiasa duduk dekat yang dengan paksi X. So, means that alpha kita dekat sini. So, this is where our alpha or our basic angle at. Okay, and then macam mana kita nak cari kita punya alpha? So, we know that angle dekat sini sampai sini ukuran dia adalah 215. Okay, angle daripada sini sampai sini ukuran kita adalah 215. And then kita tahu daripada sini sampai sini ukuran dia hanyalah 180. So nak cari baki dekat sini macam mana? So kita hanya perlu tolakkan sahaja. Means that alpha kita is equal to 215 minus with 180 degree. Okay, so apa nilai yang kita akan dapat adalah 35 degree. Okay, so jangan confuse dengan dia punya sign. Negative sign hanya menunjukkan arah rotation sahaja. Okay, pengiraan sign masih sama. Daripada sini sampai sini, dia separuh daripada cycle, separuh bulatan. Maksudnya ini adalah 180. Tambah sikit je lagi ke atas, which is 35, dapatlah kita nilai 215. Contoh. Okay, so now moving on to the sign ASTC. So ASTC is located exactly the same as the positive angle. Sama juga, dia akan tetap duduk dekat kuadran pertama, kuadran kedua, ketiga dan keempat ASTC. Okay, so now we have cos. Okay, so tapi angle kita duduk dekat sign yang positif. Means that only value of sign adalah positif. So kalau ikutkan cos kita ni, nilai dia akan dapat negatif lah. Okay, so our answer is going to be negative. Okay, and then trigger function kita adalah cos, and then our basic angle is equal to 35 degree. Settle. Okay, so nanti awak completekan sendiri these 3 examples. Alright. And then lastly, we have types of angle over here. Okay, so jenis-jenis angle yang awak kena tahulah. So acute angle, we know that it's between 0 to 90 degree. So this is acute angle, ataupun sama juga less than 90 degree lah. Okay, and then obtuse angle is angle in between 90 degree to 180 degree. Okay, so this one means that it's located in the second quadrant. And then reflex angle is bigger than that, 180 degree to 360 degree. Okay, right angle, we know that is 90. Okay, right. And then last one. So we have trigonometric identities. Okay, so trigonometric identities adalah satu formula lah. So satu formula yang berasal, sebenarnya formula-formula ini berasal daripada Pythagoras theorem. Okay, so this one adalah the basic formula that we have. Right, the upper part over here, the first equation, sin square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1. Okay, so theta over here, you boleh tukar apa-apa sahaja. We can also use x and x. Okay, or we can also use, let's say, a and a. Okay, so apa-apa sahaja. Sebab theta ni adalah simbol untuk angle sahaja. So kita biasanya gunakan theta lah kat sini. Ataupun biasanya soalan guna x juga. Depends. Okay, so and then kita ada second formula. So second formula kita adalah 1 plus cot square over cos equal to cosecant square. And then lastly we have tangent square theta equal to secant square theta. Okay, so kita akan belajar macam mana nak proving equation menggunakan these 3 equations. Okay, tapi kita tak akan belajar macam mana nak provekan ketiga-tiga equation ni datang daripada mana. Okay, so let's see the first example, we need to prove this one. Okay, prove a statement. Okay, so kalau nak prove a statement, awak kena choose side. So we have left hand side and right hand side over here. So awak kena pilih side daripada kiri ke daripada kanan yang awak nak step. So dia punya nak mudah untuk mudah kita akan sentiasa pilih side yang lebih complicated, lebih panjang. Okay, so side yang lebih panjang in this case dia macam sama je level dia lebih kurang. So saya pilih yang belah kiri. So I start from left hand side. Okay, so my left hand side right now I have is tangent theta plus cos theta. Okay, so apa yang kita akan buat sekarang adalah we need to prove that this one nanti bila kita kira kat sini dia mesti eventually dapat equal to this one on the right hand side. Okay, means that from left hand side you need to make it until it become the right hand side. Okay, so now let's start. So tan theta plus cos theta. So apa yang madam nampak dekat sini adalah tan theta, dia boleh berubah menjadi sin over cos. Sin theta over cos theta. Okay, so this one supposedly cot theta. This is cot theta. Okay, and then cot theta we know that is 1 over tangent theta. So means that terbalikkan sahaja yang ini. So bila terbalikkan dia akan jadi cos over sin. So cos theta over sin theta. Okay, now normally the expression on the right will give clue to us on how to solve. Okay, so dekat sini we only have one term. Hanya ada satu ungkapan sahaja. Dia tak ada tambah, tak ada tolak dengan apa-apa. Tapi sekarang dalam jalan kerja kita ada 2 term. The first term and then this one is the second term. Proses tambah dekat tengah. So macam mana nak jadikan dia satu term? Kita samakan dia punya penyebut. So samakan penyebut means that kita darab silang lah. So yang belah kiri akan darab dengan sin, belah kanan akan darab dengan cos. Okay, so on the left hand side it will become sin square theta. Okay, and then dekat belah kanan dia akan dapat cos square theta. So denominator kita over here is just cos theta sin theta. Like that. Okay, now we simplify. So up here we see we have sin square plus cos square. Sin square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1. Okay, so change the numerator into 1. And we have down here is cos theta sin theta. Okay, just a little bit more. So, and then we know that kita tahu 1 over cos theta is equal to secant theta. and then 1 over sine theta is equal to cosecant theta. Okay, so kita ada dua-dua dekat sini. We have 1 over cos and 1 over sine. Okay, 1 over cos we have over here, and we also have 1 over sine theta over here. Okay, so kita akan terus tukar dia jadi secant theta, cosecant theta. Okay, so you have trouble understanding this, kita boleh splitkan dia dulu. So madam splitkan dia, the first one kita dapat 1 over cos theta, and then kita darabkan dengan 1 over sine theta. Yeah, it's the same thing. Okay, so that's why yang ini jadi secant theta, 1 over sine theta jadi cosecant theta. Settle. Okay, so dah dapat dah sama sebiji. So tulis dia dekat sini, shown ataupun proof. Settle. Okay, next one, example seterusnya. Okay, so this one, next one adalah kita ada cosecant square x tan square x minus 1 equal to tan square x. Okay, so mana yang lebih complicated adalah the left hand side over here, more complicated. More complicated. Okay, so sentiasa pilih yang lebih complicated. Okay, so means that we start from left hand side as well. Okay, so we have over here is cosecant square x tan square x minus 1. Okay, so apa yang kita boleh buat dekat sini? Kita kena try and error. Okay, so from here, I can see that cosecant square can be changed into 1 over sine square. 1 over sine square x. Okay, and then tangent over here, I want to change it into sine over x, sine over cos. So we have sine x over cos x. So it's sine square and cos square. Okay, because this is tan square, so it means that it's sine square over cos square. Okay, and then at the back we have minus 1. Okay, so this is multiplied. Okay, and then we can simplify this one. We can see that the sine square and the sine square can be cancelled out like this. Okay, so we only have 1 over cos square x right now. Minus with 1. Okay, so we know that 1 over cos is equal to secant square. So now we have 1 over cos square. So dia jadi secant square. Okay, so we have is secant square x minus 1. Okay, and then we can see from here, secant square x, this one. If we bring the 1 to the right hand side, it will become secant square minus 1. So which means equal to tangent square. Okay, so tulis lagi sekali dekat atas ni. Kalau kita bawa satu ni pergi ke kanan, so kita akan dapat tangent square theta is equal to secant square theta minus 1. Okay, so tukar je angle dia sekarang menjadi x. So that's why kita akan dapat secant square x is equal to tangent square x. Okay, so we have our answer is tangent square x. Right, so this is equal to shown. Alright, settle. Okay, so the last example over here, I want you to do it on your own. Okay, so if you want to know the answer or how to find how to show it, how to prove it, you can ask your calculator. Sorry, you can ask your lecturer or you can ask me. Okay, so I think that's all from this video. Bye bye.